Make sure you tell me when we're clear, okay?
Hey, welcome to X's and O's. I'm Jeff Harrison here with the notorious, noted, I guess, partner. Noteworthy, that's it, okay.
Noteworthy,
all right.
Yeah. Leslie Spoor, that's my name.
Yep. This is called X's and O's. And
do my Vanna White impression.
Yeah, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm the X or the O, but we're going to see if we can get out of this. So today, Leslie, people, if they're just joining us for the first time, tell them a little bit about what the show is about. What's the focus?
Well, the focus...
What do you want to talk about? Oh, sorry.
The focus of this broadcast is to share small business tips and hints and anecdotal situations to help you better run your own company and to help you to solve issues and problems that you might have as you learn how to build a business.
Cool. So I'm just a kid from West Texas, so I'm going to ask you a question. Does this mean if I watch this show, I can learn how to make more money from my business?
Well, I certainly hope so.
That's what I'm here for, right? So I want.
That's what we're all here for. Why are we in business in the first place?
That's it. So the idea is we're going to share ideas that you can put into place as a small business owner, whether you're here in the Coachella Valley or anywhere across the country, and say, hey, if I took that idea, this fits for me, let me do that. If you haven't caught any of the other episodes, I would really recommend you go back and see those. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about
collaborative marketing.
Actually, I like to call it cooperative marketing.
Oh, cooperative marketing.
This is a topic I know Leslie is very well versed at. She just does it differently than I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So can I tell you a little story?
Sure, go right
Okay.
ahead.
Back in 2008, I think everybody kind of remembers that.
I was young then.
That's when the world was starting to have a meltdown, right? And I was working for La Quinta Resort in PGA West. I was a director of sales, golf sales and marketing. And of course, at that time, we were losing millions of dollars a month because everyone was leaving, right?
Right.
And so we were losing, IBM was checking out, and they would say, hey, we'll just pay our cancellation fee of $5 million because we just say 30 not coming for the whole month. Well, the point is not a lot of people had cash to do marketing.
Right, that's true.
I was one of them as the golf director of sales and marketing. I was still liable or responsible for $11 million in outside revenue coming in. And I thought, how in the world am I going to do this? I have no money. I have no database. It's the worst time in history. And I thought, how can I do this? So what I did, Leslie, I started going out into the marketplace and said, what other companies, and this is the takeaway here, we're going to dive deeper into it, is what other companies have my customers that they already have a database of that I can communicate with them, but we don't compete, and they'll do this. And so I started hooking up with high-end car companies, not insurance, but jewelry, travel companies, those kind of things. And in a very short order, it turned our business around.
Well, of course, because you have to start to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And I really hate to use buzzwords about stuff like that, but that's actually what you're doing, is you're thinking, how can I accomplish this goal in a different way?
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
Right.
That's like this right here. Like if we looked at this, I don't know if you can see the table right now, but if I'm the O's and she's the X's, I look at it and said, hey, excuse my expression, I'm screwed. The game is over. But wait a second, maybe there's something, if you think outside the box, that I can come back from, right?
Well, outside of this box?
Yes, outside of this box.
I don't think you can help yourself. You only have two O's.
But that's playing outside the box, right?
That's right.
So the idea is, first of all, when usually somebody tries this, the first thing they do, Leslie, is they kind of go at it from a standpoint of, you know what, I'm going to come to you and say, hey, Leslie, will you let me talk to your database? Right. Well, the answer is usually no, hell no, right? Excuse my expression, but that's typically what it is.
Right.
So you have to craft this a little differently. And what I've discovered is first of all, I want to ask you a question. If you get a referral, how likely are those people to become clients? Higher or lower from somebody just walking off the street?
Well, obviously higher, because all business is about relationships, right? So if somebody refers someone to you, you already have a relationship. They know that you're providing quality services, quality products, right?
That's
Or
exactly
they wouldn't refer you because nobody wants to put their name on the line for something that they don't believe in.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, so this is what I do is, let's say I come to you and let's just say you have my ideal client. We don't compete, but you have my same type of client. I would come to you and I say, Leslie, what I'd like to do is ask you to do me a favor. I would like to give you something that we do as a gift to your clients.
I do this all the time.
And all I want to do is, and I'll craft the letter, you okay it, but you send it out from you to your clients, referring me, and we're going to give them a free gift.
Correct.
Are you okay with that?
Well, everybody's okay with that.
Absolutely. See, that all of a sudden the wall goes down, because now to your clients, you're a good guy, you're a good gal, because you're giving something to them.
I do that with real estate.
Perfect.
All the time.
Like the example how?
So an example with real estate, realtors, because they don't like that A in there, realtors have the same client base that we want in the lifestyle management industry, right? We want a new home buyer or somebody who lives here part-time. So those are the clients that realtors have.
Sure.
So but they have a wall, right? Because they get hit up all the time. Everybody wants those clients. So those opportunities. So they are very resistant to any kind of pitch or approach. So what we did is we gave a 2-hour gift certificate as a closing gift from the realtor to the homeowner.
Great.
Right?
That's powerful.
So it had their name on it, their thank you to the buyer for buying the home. It was a closing gift from them. And we gave it to the realtors at no charge. And so they were very happy about that. And so then we're getting marketing by default, right? Because we're giving them our marketing literature to give to the realtor that can present on their behalf to the potential client, and then they contact us for services. So it worked really, really well.
Yeah. So this is what I call cooperative marketing, and I coined the phrase. I didn't put that little TM at the end of it, but back in 2008, no one was doing this at that time because it really wasn't necessary, and because I had no money.
Right.
But you already had a database. So in a real short order, we went from zero database to over 1 million people we could contact with, because we reached out to unfortunately some of those businesses are defunct right now, because it would be like Golfsmith or Lumpy's. I didn't put them out of business. They were doing really well. But the point is they already had this big database, and we didn't compete with them, but it was something we gave them.
And that's really a key point, is that you don't compete. In the case of the realtors, I explain to them that we do not have an agent. We're not agents. We don't have a license. So there is no competing. We're complementing their service, and that we can continue their customer service beyond the close of escrow. So therefore, we want to help them keep their buyers happy. You bet. Because the realtor has to go on to the next listing, right? Part of this, what's your coined word?
Cooperative marketing.
Okay, so part of I was going to say the other one. So part of the cooperative marketing is to make it attractive to the other person, right? And that means finding some pain point sometimes in their life that you can help. In this case, sometimes home buyers feel a sense of abandonment when escrow closes, because they've been attached to this realtor through the whole process, and then the realtor goes off to the next listing, because that's what they have to do. That's their livelihood, right? But they don't want their buyers to feel abandoned. So for us to come in and say, we'll continue your customer service, they can rely on us now instead of you, and we will, if they say anything about selling their home, we'll make sure they come back to you, because that's what realtors care about, is referral, right? Yeah. So you really do have to think way outside and how you can help somebody else in order to leverage your cooperative marketing. Why didn't I want to say collaborative?
I'm not sure, but it could have been that. It's just that I started out as cooperative marketing. I've used it many times.
Can you hold up a sign for me, Amy, that says cooperative, so I will remember that?
And I've used it many times throughout the last almost now decade, and it's made a big difference. Now, here's the other thing. I want you to put your thinking caps on out there and think, okay, in my business, who's my ideal customer? Who is my ideal customer? And then I want you to, and make that, let's say you take a sheet of paper and you cut it down the middle, or you put a line down the middle and say, who's my ideal customer? they are male or female. And before you say everybody, because they do all the time.
We've talked about
I know
this
we've done
last
this,
time.
but
Yeah.
but like decide who is the most likely to buy your product.
Yeah, you
right?
can't sell to everybody. You
No, you
absolutely can't, because there are price points that matter. There are demographics that matter. There are needs to fill, right?
That's right.
And so you cannot be all things to all people. So you have to, we always talk about this, you have to pick a lane,
Yep.
right? Pick a lane, and then focus all your marketing efforts in that one narrow spot, because that will give you the best opportunity for success.
You bet.
Right?
Yep.
So once you identify what that area is that you want to focus on, then you can look for other people that service that market, right? And then you can find a way to do cooperative marketing with those people,
Yep.
so that you can reach the same target demographic.
Yeah.
Right?
So what I would do is I would fill out the left side,
Right.
and I'd put down all the demographics and the psychographics of my client,
Right.
or your ideal client. On the right side, I want you to pick 10 businesses in the community that you say, I don't compete with them, but they have my ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Realtors.
the third thing is I want you to put a line along the bottom, because you're going to have plenty of room on the paper, and say, what can I offer those people that makes sense? Because I want to come in and I want to give a gift,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to turn it into a referral. Mm-hmm. Right? So you have all three pieces of this puzzle. Mm-hmm. Now you can start contacting those people, because a lot of times, you and I both know, I think you mentioned a couple weeks ago, the number one reason businesses fail, or maybe it was the second one, is they don't have capital.
Right.
They don't have the capital for
working
advertising.
No money. Yeah.
Yeah. So many times it's like, and we see this all the time, we've now moved away from that market, because it's easy to get into that I want to help everybody mode, but it's like, I got to feed my family too, right? Mm-hmm. So this is an opportunity for you to go out there and say, you know what, I don't have a lot of cash, but I have this oh, by the way, that was one of those. So that's thinking outside the box. I think that was a pretty good move. But the point is you can now go out there and start establishing a database of people who like your stuff. Because here's what's going to happen. This is what happened. As I said I started out with 0, and I went to over 1 million people in a database. Here's what happened. They allowed me to fish in their pond through referral. But then when they contacted me, guess what? They swam over to my pond, my private pond. And so now I could contact and communicate with them freely without asking you again. Right. But I didn't stop there. What I did is I would then go back and offer something else to that business that helped me because of the benefit.
Sure.
So it was a two-way street.
Right.
And so to me, that was cooperative marketing. I still don't know a lot of people that are actually doing it as part of their business. Now, you did it, and we were talking about this.
A couple different ways.
Yeah, we talked about this offline, and I know you were kind of like scratching your head, like cooperative marketing, but I know you'd already done it.
I've done a couple different ways.
You just call it something different.
Right. One year we did this with a pool company, for example, who had expressed an issue where they have absentee clients, and there were problems with the pools, and they weren't being notified, or the homeowners were asking if there was anybody that could monitor this, or there was a gap there. Mm-hmm. So we talked to them and ended up putting our flyers in their monthly invoices with their invoices, and so those went straight out to all of their database. Okay. Right? So that because they wanted us to help them manage what they were doing. So it's just a matter of finding a way to help somebody else.
You bet.
Right? In another case, we've done guest blogs for people, so that they could. They needed content for their newsletter.
You mean people need content for their newsletters?
Everybody needs content for their newsletters. So they needed content, or they're going on vacation or whatever. Yep. And so we would write a guest article to go in, and then that would go out to all of their database as well. So we're helping them with the content, and yet we're reaching all of their market. So that's a really nice thing. Just recently, we did a software demo that we recorded for a group of another consultant, like like what I do, another consultant, her whole group, because she uses the software, she loves it, and she had clients that she felt were at that point where they needed it.
Okay.
So, and there's nothing else on the market that's like what we do. So we did the demo for her, and then she sent the video to all of her groups so that she could help her people be more successful.
Cool. I think that's a great idea.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways that you can do it, and with technology today, it makes it easier and easier, right? When you can do one presentation and record it and then disseminate that's a pretty inexpensive way to go about getting your word out. But the key here, and I think you would agree with this, is that you need to find a way to do this so that it's mutually beneficial.
Totally.
Right?
Yep.
It can't be a one-way street.
No.
It can't be that you're getting everything and the other person gets nothing, because that's not right. There needs to be an exchange of
That's
energy.
not cooperative.
No, it's not cooperative.
No.
But there needs to be an exchange of energy of some kind, whether it's we're trying to avoid financial energy. We're trying to find ways to make a difference for somebody else.
Yep.
Right?
Something of high perceived value but low hard costs.
Right.
Doesn't really come out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Sometimes, and I'm just going to hit you right on your writing writing content.
Oh, okay.
If you're a member of a chamber, I know Katie. If Katie's watching, hi Katie. Katie loves when we as members of the chamber contribute articles. What does that do for you? Well, first of all, in that situation, for the La Quinta Gem as an example, it goes up to 28,000 homes.
Right.
And in my case, we get it twice because my wife is also a member of the chamber in a different company. So we get that twice, but it also gives you, it kind of gives you street credibility, doesn't it? And some authority. It says,
well, excuse me for interrupting you. I'm sorry.
I'm used to it. That's okay.
He's used to it. I'm terrible about that. The thing about marketing in general, cooperative or otherwise, is that people need to see you repeatedly before they remember who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And so finding creative ways, especially as a small business where your funds are limited, finding creative ways to have that reach is imperative.
You bet.
I think. So writing for the chamber is an excellent way to do that. I think that's even in our top 10 marketing tips and hints, is to write articles and have them posted. In fact, you can do the same article across all the chambers in your area. I've done that before too. When I was a member of a different chamber, I would write for one and then send it to the other 2 or 3, and they would all end up posting because everybody's hungry for content. So you can't get any more cost effective than that.
That's
right.
I mean, it's one of those things. Let's say you paid $350 a year to become a member of the chamber, but you put an article in there every month. You could not buy that space. Even in your local community, you could not buy that space for a year, once a month, 12 inserts. You couldn't do it. You just couldn't do it. So that's, if you just said, hey, I don't get any other benefit, and again, Katie, this is just an example. If I didn't get any other benefit from being a chamber, I know, from being a member of the chamber, but she allowed me to write, now she probably won't, but she would allow me to write an article and put it into the chamber news, or the newspaper. Hello, that's a win. But it's also a win for her, because now she knows every month I'm going to give her a new article, right?
Right, and I want to make it clear that when we say write an article, it does not necessarily have to be a pitch for your company. In fact, it shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be a pitch for your company, right? If you can offer helpful hints and tips, that's the way to go. I was consulting with a party planning business out here, party supply business, and she was trying to find a way to market her business a little bit more effectively, and I said to her, why don't you write an article for the chamber like we always recommend? And she goes, well, I don't know what I would write about. And I said, well, why don't you write about the difference between mylar and latex balloons, and what's the proper application? When do you use latex and when do you use mylar, and what about float? I don't know if you know about it, but float is a product they put inside balloons to keep them inflated longer. Did you know that?
My head's up in the clouds. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a product called float. So and she thought that was a great idea, because when you can write an article that shows some kind of helpful knowledge, right? You establish yourself as an expert in that field, which is kind of what we're trying to do here, is to help you understand that I can help you better your business, right? So we want to give you hints and tips. We can do that for any industry. It doesn't matter which one it is, right? Business is business. So depending on what you do could be how we're going to tell you how to best leverage your business. So you want to write articles about anything. One time I wrote an article about the history of Valentine's Day for a February newsletter for the Chamber. Do you remember that one, Amy?
Wow.
Yeah. So, just you can write about anything. You get a byline, and that's what you care about. The byline is what says who you are, what your business is, and what you do. You do not need to do hard sales to be effective ever.
Well, people won't watch. People won't stay with you if you do that. If all you do is just pitch, forget about it. They'll pitch you in the trash.
Right.
So, one of the things as a public speaker, one of the things is give them your best stuff.
Right. Always.
Because we've done it for years, and people will still pay for it, and then they'll say, "Gosh, this is the same thing I've learned at the webinar, at the talk, whatever." That's right. This is my best stuff. I'm not holding anything back, just like we're doing here.
Right. Yeah.
So,
it's really important to give all of yourself. I've worked with people. I've gone in as a consultant into companies. When I was a consultant in private industry, then I would walk into companies, and there was always invariably somebody who had all the tribal knowledge but was unwilling to share it. Okay, and they felt like those people, that personality type, feels like they're more valuable because they're hoarding all this information, and when in fact the opposite is true. The more information that you give, and the more freely you give help, the better it is for you, and the more valuable you are.
Yeah.
Because if everything lives inside your head, you're not helping anybody.
Okay, so I just had a thought.
Uh-oh. Trouble.
You know the Salton Sea?
Yeah.
What does it lack?
Water.
Flow. It lacks flow. It's hoarded all that water, right?
That's true.
What's happened to
It's
it?
stagnated.
It's kind of a dead sea.
Yeah.
That's a guy's brain. The tribal leader, the tribal knowledge that was not shared. I'm sorry, I interrupted. I apologize.
That's right. We do it back and forth. It's okay.
So don't become the Salton Sea of knowledge. Pass that on. Go ahead and cut
Our
that.
viewers way far away are not going to know what that means.
It's like the salt lake, the Great Salt Lake. There's no water coming out of there. It's like, 10 times the normal level or 3 times the normal level of salt. There's not anything living in there except brine. So anyway.
But it's dead. That's the point. So you don't want to be dead. You want to be alive and sharing and cooperative.
That's right. So just to kind of recap what we talked about cooperative marketing.
Mm-hmm.
These are for businesses that said, hey, you know what, I don't have a lot of dollars to spend. I don't have any money to spend, if you will, to run an ad in the newspaper, run an ad on, even, I can't even do Facebook ads at $5 a day. I can't even do that. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a database. What do? You have value in your idea or your product, and go find people that have the same kind of people that you do. Work out a relationship with them, ask them to send a letter out to their people, usually in an email, so it's no cost to them, except they're referring you. That's big, because as Leslie said, when there's a referral, the chances of those people signing on or let's say embracing you is much, much higher. So that's really cooperative marketing. You had a little lesson there. Write your stuff down on one side of what your ideal target market is. 10 businesses in your local area that would have the same kind of clientele that you don't compete with. And then along the bottom, what do we want to put on there? What would your offer be? Now, before I let you go, I want to say something about an offer, because we do this a lot with businesses that want to do something online, because it's all about the offer when you're running like Facebook ads or Google AdWords. We had a situation, and I'm not going to name the company, but it was a cruise company, and the cruise was like, Amy, was it like $2,000? It was like $2,000, and they wanted to give like $50 off. Are you kidding me? That's not an offer.
I can't believe
right?
I just did that.
It's not an offer, right? It's not an offer. But then we have another client who does something different. They're a doctor here in the Valley doing specialized medicine, and for them signing up, they get a $250 discount. Right? So they get a coupon for that. That's a big savings. That was like, oh my gosh, that gives my attention at least to look at the stuff. The $50 off is not so much. So make sure your offers are like, they catch your eyes.
Right. And I think that's really important. I'm not a big fan of discounts, as you know.
I know.
But when it comes to giving something to help somebody, I'm all about that. So if you can find a way to promote your services in a positive and mutually beneficial way by utilizing somebody else's distribution channel, I'm all for that. And for those of you out there that are just getting started and unsure where to go, your chamber is the number one place to go, because they will print pretty much anything. Okay.
Hear that, Katie? We're back in the good side. Yeah.
That's true. Well,
So-
she knows I promote the chamber.
So the idea is, so let me just ask you this. So, I know you don't like discounts, but the fact that you're giving a gift, let's say you came to me with the 2 hours. See, now it's not a discount. It's like the letter might read something like, I've reached out to a local community, a local business in the community, and I've been able to negotiate this. She's willing to give this as a special. Right?
Actually, that's not
And
how
so-
we did it. We actually.
I'm just saying if we
That's
did
one
that,
way
it
to
would
do
be
it,
it would
yeah.
be it would be a gift from me to my clients for your business. So it doesn't
Right.
look like you're discounted, because this
No.
is unpublished. It's not like you're going to see it in the newspaper. This is on a private email list.
Yeah, it was
right?
actually, we did it kind of uniquely, I thought, which was the letter that went to the client, to the buyer, was actually written like from the real estate agent.
Of course, that's
and
what it should
And
be.
it said, thank you for the purchase of your home. As a closing gift, we would like to offer you this service to help you set up your house, turn your house into a home. Something along that line. And it was very effective. We did it for a really long time.
And you've stopped for what reason?
You
We
can't
need to
do
get her
everything
going.
forever. Well,
Why not? McDonald's sells them. Over 3 trillion sold.
That's true. They do.
All right, so we're getting a little goofy here. We better sign off. I'm Jeff Harrison
I'm Leslie Spoor.
for X's and O's. We'll see you again next week. We're going to talk about
Facebook marketing.
Facebook Live.
Facebook Live
The
marketing.
9 ways you can leverage Facebook Live to
That's right.
boost your business. So she's going to have a week to work on this. We'll see you next week. I'm Jeff.
I'm Leslie.
See you later.